Hello everyone, this is General Hand Grenade. Welcome to my war room in Prince George, British Columbia. Well, I finally got everything set up on my board. I've been busy for most of the day here, but then I did have time to come home and set this up. And I'm going to make a short video, and there's two reasons for it. First one, I wanted to show you, after showing you all those pieces and where I got them and what I'm using them for, I thought I'd show you what it looks like all set up. So let's just take a tour around the board here. Take a look at the Americans here. There's Mr. Mohawk dude. You know what, let's just zoom in and I'll go a little slower, okay? There we go. We can see things a little better. So you can see there's nothing up there. This is the 1936 setup. And you can see there's the units up there on the place units box. You start with a bunch of units on there, and here's the other one on the other side in the place units box. So, you know, like the costs have already been started, or in some cases even finished. I really like the way that the air bases and the naval bases look on the board. When I first set up my other board, the smaller board that I had, I had the chips, and the chips are fine. I really like the chips. They're nice chips and everything. But this is what I really wanted, though. You know, is these pieces here. It's too bad Sydney's so small. It's hard to cram everything you get into Sydney there. But yeah, I tell you, it's a lot easier than when I was trying to cram them into the other board. So there's Japan there. And there's lots of room. Like I was able to fit these E-Bards capital cities on. So I'm happy about that. I'll be getting some more battleships, some Nagato battleships, so I won't be using those Yamatos in there because the Yamato is supposed to be a heavy battleship in this game. And I showed you the Dutch Islands earlier. And here's the Far East Command. I tell you, it's a good thing I went and got those little pillboxes, because there's some territories that are really quite small, and so when you're putting the fortifications in, the little pillboxes fit a lot easier than those Atlantic walls that I have. I like the Atlantic walls better, like they're a nicer looking piece, but the pillboxes certainly fit in better to the territories. I'll show you once I get up to one of them there. There's South Africa down there. There's not a lot in Africa. You got to remember, this is the 36 setup. So we're years away from World War II here. Like there's going to be probably just about a full day of build-up before the war even begins in this game. You can start with the 39 setup if you want to, you know, if you don't have as much time. Like here, look at this. This is one of the little pillboxes. Because Malta is just a tiny thing there, and even if you were using chips, it would be hard to get everything on that island, right? Anyway, so we'll move over. Oh, let's move back here so you can see northern Africa there. The Italians and the British and the French there. Moving up there, there's Gibraltar. It would be, if the British placed a few units on Gibraltar, it would be extremely difficult to attack that territory amphibiously. With the coastal gun and with the amphibious rules the way they are, you would have to bring a lot of stuff just to assault that. But it's a big deal though, because it shuts off the Mediterranean from the Atlantic, or opens it up, you know, if you're the other guys and you want to get through there. Plus it's bonus time too for the Italians, and I think there's something to do with the Spanish as well. If you have Gibraltar, I'll be getting into that when it gets into the rules. Let me just so yeah, there you go. Italy doesn't start with much there, do they? But like I said, it's years away from the war. And there is their boats there. And we did look at these in the last video, but we'll just take another look at them. The white ones there, those are all the ones that Germany's going to go and annex at the earliest possible convenience. Here, let me just see if I can set this down without killing anybody. So there's the Eastern Front, the Russians up there. The Russian factories, they have this scorched earth rule where, okay, you know, like the Germans are coming in, they broke through the front lines. The Russians can just torch all their factories and air bases, all their facilities, they can just torch them. And so Germany won't get to use them. So there's the Americans over there. The Americans start with quite a few boats. They got 2 battleships on each side of the board. Japan, in their first turn where they attack them, though, they can do some serious damage. We'll get into those rules as well. But yeah, like they're pretty tough. There's a coastal gun down here. It didn't say in the rules that if the coastal gun was supposed to point over here or point over here, and it makes a difference, right? It makes a difference with your naval bases, and it makes a difference with your coastal guns. It could be that it wants you to point that gun into both places, because there's certainly areas on the board where that's possible. Like this gun here, they want this naval base to be able to service most zones and the coastal gun. But I couldn't really pile it on top of each other, right? So those things will be for both sea zones there. Anyway, let's just walk around. I'm going to go to the top of the table so we can see that better. I'll just go really slowly though so you can see everything. The Pacific is kind of empty now, but again, 4 years out from the war, so in some cases, like the Americans, are 5 years out. Germans, I guess, and the French would be 3 years away. But it's going to be a while though. Okay, so we're up at the other side there. You can see the ski troops there. And the Mannheim line. Somebody was asking me in a question there about the Maginot line, what I was using. I had done a video about that, but here it is right here. This is called Where Eagles Dare Bunker, and it's from Combat Miniatures. I made a mistake there when I was talking about this one back here. I made a mistake in my last video. I said that this was from eBard. I did get lots of stuff from eBard, like I've got the shipyards and naval bases from eBard and the capital cities and everything. But that one is actually from Combat Miniatures. So sorry about that, Richard. Anyway, bumped myself on the table there. Okay, so there's man, they got a lot of shipyards and naval bases in Great Britain there, don't they? 6 of them. You can see why I did them in that color though, right? Like instead of separate colors, because the naval bases and the shipyards do exactly the same thing, except that the shipyards, you can build and repair capital ships at them, whereas the naval bases that you can't, right? And so that's why I painted them the same color, was because they're basically for the same thing. Here, let's sit down over top. That's why I like this stand that I have here for my phone. You can kind of set it down. Let's move up a bit. Set it just outside of Europe. You can see Germany down in there. Yeah, Germany, I couldn't fit all the stuff in there before, but everything fits in there comfortably now. There's not a lot of room left over, but there's room in there now. This is Germany here, with Berlin and everything, where the Reichstag is. So it just barely fits in, but at least it fits in now. Before, it spilled out all over the place. You couldn't really tell what was where when I set up my old board. I'll show Washington and New York from this side. And you can see they've got shipyards down in Texas and down in New Orleans there. So yeah, everything that you can do at a naval base, you'll be able to do at a shipyard as well, right? Take a look at what the med looks like from this side of the table. Anyway, I said that there was 2 reasons why I was making this video. One of them was to show you what my board looks like, all set up with all the facilities that I have and everything. And the other was because I spoke to Doug this morning at Historical Board Gaming. one of my subscribers had asked me if I knew where he could get a map, because apparently the maps were out of stock. And I said I didn't have time to answer him because I was just on my way out the door. But I texted Doug, and then Doug phoned me back, and so I talked to him for a while this morning, and he seen that I was making these videos and everything, and wondered, did I lose my job or something? I said, no. I'm on holidays. And so anyway, he asked me, is there anything that you would like for the game? Like any new units that you would like for the game? Anything that you would like to see us to start making? You know, like, can you give me some ideas? And so I have some ideas of my own. One of the things that I would like to see is grouping some items like we did with the Global 40 factory set. So what I would like to see is a set of coastal submarines and torpedo boat destroyers, like a full set of what you need for this game. You know, like instead of having to buy 5 of each when you don't need 5 of each. And he and I talked about that a bit this morning. And I think I might have convinced him to do that, but I'm not certain, right? And there's other things like, you know, other ideas that I have that I'm gonna send him an email or call him or something and talk to him about them. But anyway, what I thought was, hey, you know, I'm getting all these questions from you guys. Why don't I make a video like this so you can look at my new pieces, and then in the comment section of the video, what would you like to see? Like if a unit that Historical Board Gaming doesn't stock right now, you know, like is it some kind of super submarine, or you know, is it somebody's heavy tanks, or you know, but like another thing I said was motorized for Germany, and he said that the Opel Maltier was a motorized for Germany, even though it has tracks. He said the reason that the Germans had tracks on theirs was because of the Eastern Front. The motorized trucks were getting bogged down, so that Opel Maltier truck is the one that you would use for your motorized infantry. And then the little cars that you get, or not cars, but the mechanized infantry that you would get from the Axis and Allies game, those would be mechanized infantry. So anyway, so is there something that you would like, or is there items that you would like to see grouped or something? And I can't tell you that he's gonna do all the things that you would like him to do. It's just he's looking for some ideas, and so he reached out to me and was wondering, is there something I'd like to see? And so, like I said, I'll put together a list of my own. But if you guys comment in the comment section of this video, then I will direct him to this video and tell him that I put this out to you, and maybe he'll take some of your ideas. Like I said, he's probably not going to take all of your ideas, and even if he does, these are things that don't happen overnight. Like you don't just say, okay, I'm going to make that type of tank, and you know, and you have it out the next day. Like you have to design it right. You have to find a manufacturer, you have to do all of that, and then of course you got to send it away, and then you got to get it back, and then you got to look at it for quality control. Like did it turn out the way you wanted it, or maybe, you know, like is it not the way you wanted? Like when it took me a long time to get my air bases from Combat Miniatures, because he had to order some for himself and get them delivered to him. And then he had to check them out and make sure that, yes, those are the air bases that I want. And then, so like it took forever, right? Not forever, but I mean, it took a couple of months. Mm-hmm. So even if Doug likes some of your ideas and he decides to go with it, then he's going to, it will take a little bit of time to get that done. But anyway, whatever you'd like to see for this game. I'm not talking about rule changes. That's something different. What I'm talking about is there pieces that you like added to this game, is you know, like pieces that you can't find. You know what I mean? Because that's what he was asking me about. He says, I noticed you're going to Shapeways and stuff. Is there something that I can start making for you guys? So anyway, that's what I'm talking about. Is there pieces that you would like, or maybe there's pieces that he has that he just hasn't restocked. Maybe people ask me about that all the time, and I don't have the answers. Like, I don't work for Historical Board Gaming, right? And I don't know. So maybe you can put it in the comment section, because I'm going to get him to read the comment section of this video, and you can suggest, maybe can you start restocking this or restocking that, because it's been out for a while. and I don't know if he will or if he won't. You know, that's up to him. He may have reasons for doing that. Maybe he's discontinued a line of products. Maybe it has to do with the manufacture of certain products. I couldn't tell you. Anyway, that's what I'd like you to do. So this is a call to arms. What would you like to see in this game? Take care, everyone. General Hand Grenade out.